Welcome to Los Lobos, your weekly CMLL recap show here at this podcast. I am very happy that we have the full crew back with us. I am El, but here with me, as always, is El. Say hello.
Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be back, and shout out to Ed and Will for holding it down last week as I was gone on a little bit of well, I call it a vacation, but I was working the whole week at church camp last week. But I'm happy to be back, and I'm super excited to talk about everything, including noticias. So I'm excited.
Excellent, excellent. And above of El Jefe, we have Papa Oso. Papa Oso.
I love that change of pace. Also, I love when Will's on top.
Right.
Doesn't happen very often.
I know what.
We are here to talk about the CMLL Viernes Espectacular show from July 18th, 2025, that happened at Mexico, the Catedral de Lucha Libre. We had our one eliminator tournament for La Plata and a bunch of great matches, a bunch of other matches that we're going to talk about, but we're going to get right into it right now. And that is our first match. It was a match de Amazonas, seeing our new Japan star Yuki Mashiro versus Hera. So right off the bat, she won by submission. A really cool looking octopus that she sunk in on Hera. Great back and forth, high energy, but then there was a scary moment when Hera was climbing up to the top rope and then she fell. It seemed like it was dare I say, a botch. And then after that, I don't know if for the rest of you, it felt like they made an audible and had to cut the match early, but it felt like it ended abruptly. Hefe, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. I will say leading up into that spot, I think it was leading to be a pretty good match. But of course, like we say here at BC WrestlePod all the time, at least for me, when I visibly see something go wrong the way that it wasn't supposed to go, it takes me out a little bit. So yeah, this was tough to watch. I mean, because I still enjoyed it by the end of this. I think this was a decent match, but yeah, that bad moment from Hera totally kind of threw everything off for the match itself. But otherwise, it was a decent match. However, to kind of flip it to a little bit of a positive too, it's been really nice to see Yuki fit in so well in CMLL, especially in the Amazonas division. Yeah, there we go. This is only her at least for Viernes, this is her second time I'm seeing her. But knowing anything about our girls from Japan, like they always seem to fit in so well here whenever they get to come down to CMLL. So this was a decent match, but I felt really bad for Hera here.
Yeah, definitely. Papa also.
Yeah, I mean, I concur with everybody. I mean, it was great. I liked the match. I thought it was pretty decent. Yuki is amazing, and I love her, and I wish she was here forever. I know she's not, but it'd be great if she was. And of course, Hera is amazing. I love Hera too. But yeah, I'm a little concerned there for a moment. And I was like, but you know, the funny thing about it, and we'll talk about it later on, but it's so incredible to watch a lot of these matches because these human beings do things that normal human beings like myself would never even contemplate doing. Some of the moves they make, some of the things they do. So, and a lot of it is extremely specific. And I think that, you know, and unfortunately, because of that, any minuscule misstep is going to cause a cascade effect, you know, and I think we saw that in this first match, unfortunately. But again, I actually thought the match was pretty decent. I really liked it.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a good opener, and it speaks to Hera's professionalism, how she climbed right back in and she finished the match. And yeah, it doesn't look like she was hurt majorly because she was up and about and wrestling some events later on. And also, we're going to be seeing her this week, but we'll talk about that later. Moving on to our next match. We had a little bit of a build-up to the Felino Rey Bucanero versus Caballero match for the 92nd anniversary show. But here we have Blue Panther Bucanero on the technical side versus Virus and El Felino. Our first pinfall went to the technicals, where Rey Bucanero and Blue Panther got surprise roll-ups and pinned Virus and El Felino. Second went to the technicals, and actually there was a disqualification. So the whole match went to Rey Bucanero and Blue Panther. And this was kind of my thought about this match. I wanted to enjoy it more. Let's start with you, and then I'll chime in.
I know I agree with you, and I know where you're going with that. I absolutely agree. I really wanted to be more into this. I don't know why. There was to me, it felt slow, if that makes sense.
Okay,
Even though
yeah, yeah.
it wasn't slow, but it felt slow.
Right.
It felt geriatric.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Like they released us from the home and we're coming down to do a thing and then we do a
Right.
thing and then I mean that's truly it's just how it felt.
Right.
And so I couldn't really get into it. I don't know why, and which is unusual because usually I love it. I'm like, yes, let's see it. Like
Right.
when the older like Ukamura comes in, he's like, oh hello, he's an old man and he's kicking some ass. And I think maybe if it had been like older generation versus a younger generation, you know what I'm saying? I don't
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
there was something that wasn't connecting with me, and I don't know what it was. So I'll stop.
Yeah, really quick, I think Agent Lo-Fi might be on the right path there, where it really did seem like it was trying to focus on Rey Bucanero and to hype up their 92nd anniversary match, and Blue Panther and Beerus were just kind of there. Mikey, what do you think?
So geriatric is wild. I was muted, but I was like, listen, y'all know I like being messy on this podcast. No. So how do I put this? I think why I enjoyed this probably a little bit more is only because I kind of knew what I expected going into this match, given that the combined age of all four of these individuals probably surpasses like 400 plus years of in-ring experience and actual physical age, maybe. Of
Right?
course, that's hyperbole, not actual fact. So I kind of already figured what type of match we were going to get in. I think where my issue goes with this is the fact that, of course, we know that, at the 92nd Aniversario show coming up in September, we know that Bucanero and Felino are going to have a match there, which is cool and everything. Again, this is CMLL, so storytelling and feuds are built up differently.
Sure.
And like I have to turn off my Americanized brain when it comes to storytelling with this.
Yep.
But I will say I felt like our other two dance partners in this match were kind of like secondary to like what the real focus was supposed to be on.
Sure.
I don't know. I like this. I think I like this a little bit more than both of you, but I don't want to like dismiss your guys' opinions and critiques of it because I also see where that's coming from. It was okay. I didn't hate this match, but what helped me get through it was I already figured I expected what was going to happen based on all the people who are in this ring. So I don't know if that helps or not.
Yeah. Yeah, so I definitely see your points. I agree with Primo, Agent Lo-Fi, that you can tell that they are putting their all into this. And this is a big match, Caballero versus Caballero. That's hair versus hair, That is the mask versus mask equivalent of for non-masked luchadors. So this is a big thing, and this is probably, and I feel that this is also the first versus Caballero match that we as a Los Lobos de Lucha are going to see when we see the 92nd Aniversario show. So yeah, no, it's big and there's a lot on the line. I don't know, maybe it was the DQ. Like I would have liked if they could have cooked a little bit longer. Maybe if it was like a trios match. I don't know. It was still a fun match. We got to see them do their thing, and then afterwards, they did bring out. So this, good people, is Viola Cabanera. She has been decreed as the #1 fan. She has been a fan of CMLL for 90 years.
Yes, let's
90
go.
years. So y'all neckbeards saying that you're #1 fan, you ain't got nothing.
Wrestling brand.
Yeah. They gave her flowers in the form of a jacket that says Mexico is the shit. I was so stoked that the Blue Panther held this up and it said Mexico is the shit. It was awesome. I loved it. So yeah. So then after that, also side note, I wanted to see if I can't find that Panther Jim Blue Panther shirt that Blue Panther was wearing. That was hot. I like that.
I
Like that a lot. So,
get all these things.
and speaking of things that you like, do you like what you see? Do you like the wrestling? Do you like what you see and the wrestling? Well, why don't you find us on the social medias? We are the Biconics and we are on the interwebs. You can find us on the following social medias: Instagram, Threads. You're probably watching us on YouTube, Twitch, Kick. We are also on Blue Sky. We have our merch over at BC Wrestle Pod Spring, fourthwall.com. Mikey,
Thanks.
tell us about the merch.
Absolutely not. No, I was kidding. No, I got this. So, of course, if you want to support BC Wrestle Pod, you can do all the things that Eb has mentioned. But the primary way that you could is get yourself something nice in terms of merch. Of course, we have merch for all of the things for all our review teams. So support your favorite review team, whether it's one of the US based review teams or the international branded ones. And then, of course, we also have some fun other collections too, including our summertime, our Hot Boy Summer collection, our Pride 24/7 collection, and our We Don't Tap collection, where we are fighting fascism here in the in Los Unidos, which is the best way I can put it nicely without getting what it is. It's like we use our platform and we aren't afraid to back down. So
Right.
it's really good. And of course, for the Pride collection and our We Don't Tap collection, proceeds will be donated to charity organizations Point to Pride for our Pride collection, and of course, the California Immigration Youth Justice Fund as well. So we love to see it. But I turn it back to the door because we got lots more wrestling.
Yes, we do. And really quick, just to kind of show you what we have coming up tomorrow night. Nope, that's not. Hang on. There we go. Tomorrow night we have our mystery wrestling review where we go over Mr. Evil Uno's Mystery Wrestling 17. Really fun time. On Friday, we have our Six-Sided Scholars, the TNA look at Slammiversary, which happened
This past Sunday.
past
And
weekend.
let me tell you, even if you don't follow TNA like that, y'all want to tune into this review because we have thoughts and feelings because we have so many questions and moving forward.
Oh, sure. And then on Sunday, we have our Dual Dynasty WWE reviews for Raw
Yep,
and this
Sorry.
and this
Really quick.
brings us to our next match where we find Ultimo Guerrero and Stuka Jr. versus Aveno. And hey, someone ask El Segundo, why is the match card so janky? Someone asked that question.
I'm tagging the wheel to finish the sentence.
Why is this card so janky?
Well, let me show you why. Did it to us again. We got no match card. They almost killed the ref inadvertently. Caught in the crossfire. I'm telling you, when the Guerreros Luganeros and when they start grappling, just batten down the hatches. This was a very fun match. Dare I say it was the blow-off match from the week before. The first pinfall went to Los Infernales. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. The second pinfall went to Guerreros Laganeros, where Ultimo Guerrero, he got his pulpo on Averno, his submission move, and made Averno submit. And then our third pinfall went to the Guerreros Laguneros. Stuka Jr. hitting his spectac and pinning Euphoria, and then Ultimo Guerrero again hitting the on Averno. Great energy. This kind of brought the energy level back up in the show. These two teams are just great examples of what the archetypical route is. Just like coming in and wrecking house. Damn, who's in the way. During that third pinfall, did we see another botch? What do you think?
So I'm gonna be so upfront. I mean, it's 50-50 that it could have been a bot, but at the same time, I feel that because this is rudo violence a little bit, this is chaotic AF, and I live for chaos. I'm gonna be so for real. Again, all four of these guys, they're like, nah, let's just go mess around. Like we just gonna forget trying to win the match. It's like, how can I do the most damage in the span of time? And but I feel like this is kind of leading to we have like 2 months, a month and a half at this point before anniversary. I'm just like, damn, we finally getting close to what's gonna be on this card, what's at stake, like all this good stuff. So I'm here for it all. Literally, Anniversario is shaping up to be a lot of fun. This match in itself, violence was had, the announcer almost died. That has been a trend this week with our announcers and a bunch of promotions. TNA's Gia Miller got attacked by a wrestler on Sunday. We had a couple of ref and announcer bumps early in this week so far in wrestling. It's been wild in wrestling, you guys. But as far as this match goes, I enjoyed it. Again, I kind of knew what to expect given the fact that in various forms and different coats of paint, we have seen these individuals go up against each other or on the same side, and then it just falls into like, we don't like each other again. So I'm having a good time. This was mess, but I love me some mess.
Right. Papa also, I'm sure you this match.
Oh my God, absolutely. It was horrific. I'm so kidding. Oh my God. I love when this happens. And we kind of have it later on too in another match. But
Yep.
man, this one was I love as we were saying, Rudo versus Rudos. I love it when they fight with against each other because it's just nasty all around and it's wonderful. And it's so funny because you see then when you have two technicos fight, which we see later on, how they're like shaking hands and they're like, yeah, it's waking up. These guys are like, I'm gonna rip your head off and show it to the audience. And it's so great. I love it when Rudos face off with each other. I love it. Because it's going to be something spectacular. It is. And it was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was good. It was really good. And at the end of the match, I might have misheard. I don't know, but I think that Ultimo Guerrero did challenge Verno to another Guerrero versus Caballero match. And as Agent Lo-Fi pointed out, we will probably see them mix it up at the 92nd anniversary show. So maybe it's going to be Barber Night at Mexico for the 92nd anniversary show. We will find out. Next match. And also, I agree with Agent Lo-Fi that nothing tonight necessarily felt rushed with the tornado being what it was, but everything kind of moved at a clip, and that went with this match. Oh yeah, we have a quick message from our sponsor. Have you been Canadian destroyered on the ring apron, the hardest part of the apron? Have you met Barry Barricade or Benito Barricade or Bushido Barricade? Frank Mortos, attorney at law, roar, grumble, roar.
I can't.
So as retains his belt, man, this was a great part 3 with these two. I loved it. And like we talked about last weekend, whether Esfinge walked out or whether Beast Mortos walked out, I would have been like, I could see it swinging both ways. So Esfinge walking out as the champion, I'm okay with it. The match was fantastic. Fantastic work between Beast and Esfinge. They had this really impressive opening segment where they were just like mirroring each other. And then later on, Esfinge hit a tope and then jumped back in the ring with Beast Mortos. Beast Mortos then threw Esfinge out and he was like, I bet. And he hit this over the rope tornillo on Esfinge, just kind of like matching his energy. It was great. I honestly don't think Esfinge Mortos have the best chemistry. Mortos is better with the high flyers, in my opinion. I think I'm going to disagree. I kind of like their chemistry, but we'll toss this to Russell. What do you think?
I really like this match because I love both of these guys. And I agree. I think their chemistry is okay. I don't necessarily think I can see where Agent Lo-Fi is coming from, but I thought they were pretty evenly matched. I thought that they flowed well. I thought that, they're obviously two completely different entities.
Yes.
And coming into the same ring together, it does feel like abrasive in the fact that they're not the same. Get it from that sort of angle. That I get that they're constantly just sort of rubbing against each other. But I thought it was pretty good actually. I actually enjoyed this match from beginning to end. There wasn't a moment that I was like, no, and that's fair. Now I will agree with Agent Lo-Fi there though. I will say that this Esfinge is Esfinge in every match that he's in. It's like, and I do get that. I really do. But being someone who has not watched this sort of in a long time, I'm not as biased or jaded. So
sure. Yep.
I really enjoyed it. And I like watching Esfinge work, and I have recently been introduced to the Beast Mortos, and I really enjoy this persona. I really like this style. It's pretty good. Overall, I really enjoyed this, man.
Heavy.
So I'm going to articulate this in the best way possible. I'm actually going to, first of all, yes, Agent Lo-Fi, Esfinge has the mask game on lock. I love his mask. I need to figure out how to get one because it's so different.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to.
He's come out with is a banger.
God, that's so good. I need to figure out how we're gonna get one, but no. So I'm actually going to agree with our primo Agent Lo-Fi, but I'm gonna take it in a different direction.
Okay.
So on paper, and even in this little placard that is on their screen, right? The first thing I yelled when I saw this match was happening was meat. It's like this. This is gonna be big boys on big boys.
Yep, big man meat slapping each other.
So, but I'm gonna take it in a different direction. I don't necessarily think Esfinge and Mortos have bad chemistry. I think they have really good, decent chemistry. But I think that's because both of them, even though one is, mostly specifically here in Arena México, And I've seen what Mortos can do, not just in AEW, but in as Will and I have come to learn too, is time different seasoning, if that makes any sense. So I
Yeah.
feel like while the blueprint and the basics of Lucha Libre are both in both of them, I think their showmanship and what they perceive as like what needs to be done to keep the momentum fluid and moving is completely different because again, they're working in the same lane, but in two different gears because of where they are currently working at. So I will say though, and this is just for me, because again, normally because I break everything down to video games and even TTRPGs for a little bit, because normally in fighting games, when you have big brawler versus big brawler, there's only a certain amount of things that two big brawlers can do together, like big like high stats in physical prowess, but not a lot in like technique and things like that. And I feel like that's what we got here, even though it was so good. But I think there's something to be said about having a power based and of a more technical high flyer going at it because I feel that there is more to do, especially because one, in that type of matchup with high flyer versus power base is able to show off their strength against someone a lot smaller, which creates the illusion of like, oh my God, if I met this man in Dark Alley, he probably gonna throw me against the wall. So I might like that. But I also think from the other side too, a high flyer going up against a big power base luchador or wrestler in general, it's the wrestling trope of David versus Goliath, where you root for the faster and the high flying to take, like figuring out what they gonna do to take out the big power wrestler. So whereas I agree with our primo that they have decent amount of chemistry, not to I think they did really good, but I feel like when you go up against opponents that are not the same as you tend to get more out of your opponent, and that's again coming from me who did a little bit of martial arts and MMA a little bit in his 20s. So that's what I was taught. By going up against opponents who are different skill levels and different like stats than you tend to learn more and do be able to do more in the ring than if you were being matched up with like a replica or a mirrored version of yourself. That's all.
Right. Well, look at that. We had a civil discussion about wrestling on the internet. Who woulda thunk? Man, very true. So, and this brings us to our next match, which was our favorite Galeon Fantasma Difunto Bar Jr. versus Atlantis Jr. Bandido. But hey, somebody ask El Buntador Segundo. Hey, El Buntador Segundo, why is the match card so janky? Why is it so janky? Come on, ask the question.
Will, I'm gonna have you start out and I will finish it.
This is why, twice in a night, that you gave us a match where they started out on the ramp and you didn't give us a match card. I'm kidding. This was a fun match. It was what it was, the semifinal before the torneo. I felt like it got us to where we need to be for the torneo. It was a best 2 out of 3 pinfall. Really quick. First pinfall went to the Technicos, where Atlantis Jr. pins Zandakan Jr. Second pinfall went to Galeon Fantasma, where we had a really cool triple pin. I love the teamwork of Galeon Fantasma. And then our third pinfall went to the Technicos, where Me Jr. and makes him submit. Yeah, it's been a minute since Mystico has done a stage dive. He's really been, yeah, ever since he's come back from his hurt tricep or whatever, he's really been feeling it. And hey, Tyler, welcome to the show. So, Jefe, let's start with you, Jefe. Our favorite ghost ship versus these high flyers.
I mean, can I just say, first and foremost, I really, really love this match. I think I don't get me wrong, I love me a good torneo, which we're gonna talk about later. But honestly, for me, this is probably my favorite match of the entire night. And I think it's because everybody in this match is like one of my faves. I love the entirety of Galesma. Like I love all three of them. They are so good. And then you look at the other side too. I also love Atlantis Jr. Mystico has gone Super Saiyan, which was great to watch. And I'm gonna be so for real. I'm calling it now, unless anything changes. I think Bandido is gonna be my favorite wrestler of 2025. Like this man has been nonstop on the ground and just grinding and appearing everywhere he can. Bandido
Yeah.
has had a fantastic summer, y'all. It's
Yep.
crazy. It's stupid crazy how good he is. And I was just like, you would forget he concussed himself coming back in December. And now this man is, I'm telling you, since winning the Ring of Honor World Championship at Dynasty back in April, Bandito has been on the gas pedal like all gas, no brakes, yada I mean, it's just like, holy crap, man. This was a blast. And I was just like, yeah, this was fun. Wait a minute. You mean tell me we got something after this? What the flip, CMLL? I was like, right.
Yeah. Barbosa, what'd you think?
I love this match. It was so good. And again, because the chaos started early before the match officially started. And I loved, oh my God, the chaos. And I love the chaos. And that launch by Mystico was good. That I was like, wow, these guys do a lot of like what we would consider like dangerous shit, man.
Yeah.
And some of those moves, like, wow, and they execute them so well, and, I mean, especially, like, any of those moves where, like, the legs go around the neck and they flip them over.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
you do that wrong, you're hurting somebody for good,
Yeah.
and, I mean, they just execute so well. It was just great to watch and fitting for who they are, and, yeah, this and I will agree also with everybody else, or at least Mikey and Agent Lo-Fi, I guess, 'cause then I'm not sure about so glad. But, yeah, this match was amazing.
Yeah, I can see that as a best wrestler for 2025. He has just everywhere he's gone, he's put on a great match. Sorry, Atlantis Jr., if you seem like you were kind of lost in the shuffle in this. He's Atlantis Jr. is also good in his own right. The three of these wrestlers together, fantastic. El Galeon Fantasma, like I said, I love the way they work together. They do such fun spots. Like I love that triple pin for the second fall. We got Defunto doing his Defunto things. It was good. Yeah, and yeah, I definitely stoked that they're getting these opportunities like top card Rudos like they should be. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I putting that out in the universe. So this brings us to the main event of the night, which was so this torneo, for anyone that hasn't seen, the way that this torneo is run is there's 3 parts. So the first part is a torneo cybernetico where all the wrestlers start in the ring and they toss each other out. They have to get tossed over the top rope, and then as they get tossed out, that is the who wrestles who. And then once they run that, then they do round 2 right away, where the first and second person that got eliminated come in, they wrestle. Then the third and fourth, etc. And then they have a round. They whittle it down to the finals, and then the finals, of course, will be next week. So to start us off, we have as I'm going to call it, the order of tossing or round 1 was you had Max Star was the first one to go out, followed by Neon, Plasivo, followed by Titan, Capitan Suicida, followed by Mascara. So those were your matches. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run down what happened in the match or who won the matches real quick, and then we will have our big discussion on it. So in the next round, we saw Max Star versus Neon, where Neon pinned Max Star, versus Titan, where Titan pinned Cap, versus Mascara Dorada, where Mascara Dorada pinned Cap, and Angel de Oro versus Templario, where Templario pinned Angel de Oro. And then in our last round, Neon versus Titan, Neon pinned Titan, Dorada versus Templario, Templario. But wait, you might be saying, does this mean it's going to be a Sky Team versus Sky Team final this upcoming Friday? Well, yeah, that's exactly what it means. We have Mascara Dorada facing off against Neon next Friday in the final for La Leyenda de Plata. Really quick, let us get Primo. This was my only real disappointment. Not that anything was bad. It was way too short. Fair? Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. It did feel short. It definitely felt like a Grand Prix type format. Yep. The final is going to be really good. Yep. Agree with that. Definitely agree with that. El Jefe, let's start with you. What do we think?
So I was ecstatic about this because, this was one of the first things but outside of Fantastica Mania, this was also one of the other things we kind of covered when we first started covering CMLL last year. And I had such a great time last year, and I had a great time this year. I think everything was solid, but I do agree that I felt like because of how short it all was, it kind of took away from some of the action. So the best way I can explain it is the action was good, but I felt like they were pushing it in 2 times speed to get through everything that they needed to.
Yeah. No.
And
Okay.
so
Yeah.
and I feel that each time we were getting to the climax of the match, but then it stopped right there. It's like, we were just getting Darn it. But I also agree with AJ Lo-Fi too in his assessment, where it's just was like after what we saw in the match before, people were like, "All right, we're good, so we're gonna leave." I was like, "That's a bummer." I still like this. I thought this was a lot of fun, but I will say though, I am hyped for this final this Friday.
Definitely. Papa,
I love this too. I think it should have come before the Bandido match, but whatever. Also, I think if they had just split this down the middle and did like half of it this week and then did the final the week after that, I think we would have had more time with each of them.
yeah, I feel like that's what they did last year. Was
So too.
they had one part one week, next part the next week, and then yeah, that it was stretched out through 3 weeks, which I think worked out better. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because I agree. I think it was just everything was just so fast and short that we couldn't. I mean, I didn't have a chance to like really like enjoy each of the matches because they were so fast.
yes,
And it was just like, yeah, I mean, I would rather have seen like the first two sets go get
yep,
those winners than have them face off to whoever that is going to face the
yep.
winner of the next week and then on and on or whatever. Yeah, I agree. I thought that this could have been far more enjoyable if they had been broken up a bit more. So
Yep.
even though I loved them all, but I wanted more. It just left me wanting more.
Yeah. No, yeah, yeah. That it wasn't anything bad. We just like we wanted more. So, but at in the end, we got Mascara Dorada and Neon facing off, and that was our show for this past Friday. What's coming up this other Friday? Why, I can tell you. On Friday, the 25th of July, we got starting us off Juvia, La Jarochita, and Yuki Mash versus Darks and Hera. So interesting to see kind of this match again, but with Reina Isis involved. So it should be a lot of fun. And I'm kind of wondering if there might be building up like a Yuki versus Hera type thing. Like I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't be mad at that. But that's beside the point. Next, in a lucha in triangle, we have Ultimo Guerrero versus El Valiente versus Barba Cavernario. Woo! Those matches are going to be run the best way. And then after that, we have a match Místico versus Hechicero. That's going to be cool. And then our finals for the Leyenda de Plata of Masca versus Neon. CMLL loves to change the rules on their torneos. It can get a bit frustrating. Yeah, that is fair. But we're at the finals, so we'll see what happens next week, or we'll see what happens next year. But this upcoming, I'm this final is going to be really cool. It's definitely a stacked show that we got coming up. And that's it. Now I'm going to toss it over to Mikey for
Get a whole banda to play this whole thing. No, so I'm super excited to talk about Noticias. It's going to be a bit of a different one, but while I didn't include it in the slides, I wasn't here last week. I definitely do want to quickly talk about, I mentioned it earlier, but Supercard of Honor had some of our CMLL talent involved in this. The pure championship match between Lee Moriarty and Blue Panther was really fun to watch. Nick Wayne versus Titan was fine. I think they each nerfed each other, so it wasn't the same like we saw in Best of the Super Juniors, unfortunately, but it was still a fun match. I will say though, I always am gonna pop for Titan's like submission bridge maneuver that he does, which is such a beautiful thing to watch. And while technically not CMLL related, y'all need to go watch Bandito versus Konosuke Takeshita. That is on my short list for match of the year. Those two burnt the roof, burnt everything out. They killed it. But as far as like CMLL related stuff, first I want to go through some things. So of course, coming up, we got some CMLL folks coming over to the States for some MLW things. So first and foremost, we got MLW Blood and Thunder coming up in about 3 weeks or so. The MLW crew will be doing a watch along for that on Saturday, August 9th at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, hopefully. But the reason that I bring this up is because we are getting Místico taking on Ikuru Kwan in the first round of the 2025 Opera Cup for MLW, which includes MLW, CMLL, and New Japan talent. So this is going to be a lot of fun. So I think that's going to be great. But then go first.
what did Akura Kwan call himself in his promo? He was going hard.
That pre-tape promo went hard.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
it
so
did.
good. And I'm just like, oh, this match is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. But fast forwarding a little bit still on CMLL MLW stuff in September, coming to us from Texas, specifically North Richland Hills, Texas. MLW will be there for Fightland, and we've been getting announcements over the last couple of weeks of CMLL talent that's going to be at Fightland for MLW. So we have got an announcement that Templario will be in action down there, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We also got Atlantis Senior in action in some capacity down there, which is going to be fun. We're also getting probably something to do with his championship, which should be a lot of fun. We also are having Titan come in for some amazing stuff, which is going to be fun. And Barbosa, surprisingly, is also going to be here, which makes me super excited. But then, of course, the most recent announcement for Fightland is that we are getting in action as well. So we're getting some very fun talent. Again, this is MLW Fightland taking place Saturday, September 13th in North Richland Hills, Texas. So, Agent Lo-Fi, I love this. It's like, but I've also got a visa hype.
That is like 2 hours from me.
Guys, we'd like to officially announce the GoFundMe.
I'm looking it up right now.
So, one way, shape, or form, we will figure out a way to send Will to Fightland in September if we can. Yeah, I don't know what it is about 2025, but a lot of these companies are making their way to, funny enough, where we all live, so all of us can experience wrestling in some capacity. So it's going to be fun. But I also have some other noticias. This is breaking news, and this comes thanks to Agent Lo-Fi. So Informa happened. We got some stuff set up as well as things for this Viernes Espectacular. But the one thing I do want to discuss that was revealed to us is we have the official lineup for Team Mexico and Team World for the Grand Prix happening on August 29th. So I'm super excited to do this. So they announced that tonight. So I'm going to start with Team Mexico because we love Team Mexico. And I'm excited for everybody that they have. So on Team Mexico for the 2025 Grand Prix, we have Mascara Atlantis Jr.
Wow.
So that makes me excited. I was like, I'm noticing these are a lot of the younger talents involved in this Grand Prix, so I'm not going to be upset. I'm going to be so for real.
Right. Am I crazy, or is that a little leaning?
Well, let's figure it out. So my technically Technical Atlantis Jr. I feel like it's a good even split if I'm being completely honest.
Okay.
I mean, it's leading more towards technical, but I feel like it's a good split between the two. So that should be a lot of fun. Same here. I'm so stoked that Difunto made it too.
Definitely.
All right, so now let's get into Team World. Team World is representing different parts of the world as well as their different companies, and I'm super stoked for this announcement. So, representing, I'm just going to do promotion based because, country of origin is important too, but representing the US and MLW is Dijak. So, Dijak is coming back to Mexico, which is going to be fun. Representing the United States and AEW, Action Andretti.
Okay.
Representing the Philippines and New Japan Pro Wrestling is TJP. So I'm excited about that. Representing the US and AEW, Rocky Romero.
Of course.
This is where I get excited. Representing the UK and Rev Pro, Michael Oku. I'm like, oh my God, yes. Now we play. I love Michael Oku so much. Representing Japan and New Japan Pro Wrestling, the Bone Soldier, Taiji Ishimori.
Nice.
So excited. Representing the United States and AEW, Leo Rush.
Okay.
Representing Mexico and AEW, Beast Mortos.
Nice.
This one has me all the way hyped, though. Representing Canada and AEW, Speedball, Mike Bailey.
Wow. Okay.
I'm like, I could see Speedball fight Lucha.
I'm excited.
I've been wanting that forever. And now this Grand Prix is going to have Speedball fight in the Grand Prix against the Luchadors. I'm like, oh my gosh, this Grand Prix is going to be so much fun. It's a 10-on-10. It's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait.
Love it.
Exactly. Mortos is the only head scratcher. He's Team Mexico, ? Oh my goodness. So.
All right. And that is it. Thank you for joining us. We are happy that you joined us. Primo, as always, thank you. And yeah, don't forget, I'm Biconic. You're Biconic. We are all Biconic. And you get to finish your own story. That's right. So, in the words of the wise men, let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here. Johnny TV style. The best Right in the shot, you bald idiot! You fool! The other way, go!
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's gonna happen next time? Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.